Welcome to this edition of Silver Sneakers Boom Muscle. To start off, I'm going to do a warm-up. My usual routine is when I go around the facility and spray down the restroom, bathrooms, wipe them down, and make everything clean and sterile. So, have this little spray disinfectant, spray on the toilet, the underside. Even though we're getting out of the cold and flu season, I think it's still a good idea. Lessons from our COVID pandemic. Then taking a rag, wiping it down. Today is my squat day, so I'm going to be going through a number of exercises to do that. By cleaning the toilet here, I have to squat down, warm up my hips, wipe down the sides. And moving on to the sink. I'm not a professional industrial hygienist, but do the best I can with it. For the second part of my warm-up, since it's early and I'm the only person at the facility, I unload the weights that are left around. Straighten things up a bit. It's a nice warm-up, some walking, some lifting and bending. And at least for me, I like the facility when it's organized, looks pretty straightened up, and again, a 5 or 10 minute walk around, overall total body warm-up works for me. So having finished my around the facility warm-up, getting ready to do some of my specific warm-up for squatting. Just wanted to mention a couple things. If you've followed some of my previous videos, you know I'm engaged in a number of different fitness activities. And I'm constantly trying to sort out what's the best regimen, what works, periodization, micro and macro cycles, etc. I think you can be misled by looking on the internet on these scientific studies, mega studies and meta-analysis, trying to decide what's best. Each person's an individual with unique genetics and epigenetic influence. For myself, I'm still, after 71 years, trying to sort that out. Do I push my heavy exercises once or twice a week? How much rest and recovery? In my opinion, my ancestors didn't spend a lot of days recovering. If they weren't active, they probably didn't eat, and their body decided it was in a famine period and started to burn muscle and preserve fat stores. So I have a tendency to try and do something every day, even if it's just a 30-minute walk, some light cardio, some rehabilitation type exercises. But again, each person's individual. You might find that 2 or 3 days of good exercise a week are sufficient. Maybe more, maybe less. But for me, at least for now, trying to attain my goal of competing in powerlifting. I'm doing my heavy lifts twice a week, usually one lift each on different days, along with accessory exercises, and throw some moderate intensity cardio in 2 or 3 times a week. Trying to lose some body fat and maintain muscle. So quite a goal and we'll see how it goes. I've got 2 months until my first powerlifting meet with the Senior Olympics. My goals for that are to finish. So not to do anything fantastic, not to win, just to show up, do the lifts correctly, and get experience as to what this whole powerlifting world is about. Maintain my health, lose some body fat, and get into the summer with some enthusiasm. So at this point, I've done my first warm-up, so now I'm going to start doing my squat-specific warm-ups. I'd like to grab a wood pole first. You can use any sort of bar if you want to. What I like about the wood one, it's nice and smooth, it's light, so I'm mostly working on just shoulder flexibility. In 2 months, I've been able to go from not being able to get the bar on my upper back to now I can do it. It's not comfortable, but I can do it. Then you can twist. If you notice, my hips are twisting quite a bit with this. So for a specific warming up the spine, you want to put your knees stable, sitting down, which takes the pelvis out of it. You can do the same sort of twist. You notice the range of motion is significantly decreased. But this is what you would consider dynamic stretching. Then I can put the bar behind my neck, roll it down, bring my hands in as far as I can get them, starting to stretch out my shoulders. At this point, I do some box squats, just nice and gentle, trying to maintain my upright posture. There's some consideration on doing a squat, whether to put the bar in a high back position or a low back position. The difference is really only a couple inches, where if the bar is resting on your trapezius muscle or a bit farther down the back on the scapula, the shoulder blade. Supposedly, for taller lifters, the lower back position is more advantageous to help keep a more upright posture in the trunk. For me, I'm lucky if I can get it even to that high back position. I find for me it takes a significant amount of time to warm up my hips and my whole body to do squats properly. If I move too quickly into a full squat, then I run the risk of more injury. So my next warm-up is going to be a goblet squat. You can take a weight, a dumbbell, or a kettlebell, and just do a squat. This is similar to a front squat, putting the weight a little more in the front of the body. Try and keep the weight going straight up and down vertically. And with each repetition, I try and get a little deeper into the squat. You'll see some people do a front squat with a bar. To do that, you have to get your elbows forward and your knuckles close or on your front of your chest, front deltoid. As you can see, there's no way with my limited range of motion in both my elbows and my shoulders. Never going to get there, so I'll stick with the goblet squat. I can do a heavier dumbbell. There's a thing called a Zercher squat, where you rest the bar in your elbow crease. I find this quite uncomfortable unless I put a thick pad to rest the bar right there. Moving on to a wall squat. This one's done without weight. It's to help working on the position of keeping your chest moving up vertically So put your hands against the wall, your feet close, ideally right against it, but I'm working on that. Try and keep your head an even distance away. And then you squat deep and up. And then grabbing the stability ball, put this behind me, feet shoulder width apart, make sure your knees track over your feet. And this hack squat is warming up your quads more than the posterior muscles. You can repeat any of these exercises more than once. Since I'm using them as a warm-up, I usually just try and get between 5 and 10 repetitions and then move on. To warm up my shoulders, I like to use a TRX band and do a number of dynamic stretches for my shoulders. I just lean forward and up. Trying to feel a nice stretch using my body weight to help stretch out the shoulder muscles and ligaments. Out to the side. Usually 3 to 5 repetitions, and then I bring the band again more sort of into position with my elbows down, similar to where my hands would be positioned on the bar. On my squat day, I like to alternate a machine type exercise working on increasing strength with a true squat working on technique. So for my true squat, I try and keep the weights moderately light, but push myself with the machines. So this one is a belt squat. I think it works really well on range of motion for the legs and powering up. So hook it to the right arm here. Again, good technique. Release the break, and you can get a very nice deep squat position. It's always important when moving fairly heavy weights to brace your core, monitor your technique, minimize any rounding of the back, trying to protect your spine. When working on squat technique, I want to make sure I'm well rested. So from my last heavy lift, give myself at least 3 to 5 minutes. Feel I've fully recovered. Going to require complete focus, remembering about the 20 steps required to do a proper squat, aiming for 3 repetitions, perfect form, and in my mind I go through the directions that are given in a powerlifting meet. First to unrack the weight, step back into position, hold still with my knees locked, at the command to squat, squat down as deep as I can go, at least where my thighs are below parallel or below the knees, then power up, hold in that up position with knees locked for the command to rack, then bring the weight forward. Doing multiple repetitions, I avoid the last rack command until I'm actually done, but go through that so that I'm not surprised in an actual meet. I use the pad on the bar in my training, otherwise I start to bruise my muscles and scapula, lower and cervical spine. Placing the bar, I figure I can go through a single repetition without the pad when I need to, but for training I continue to use it. A couple other things, very important, that the bar is balanced, and you don't want to fully unrack until you're sure you have it in balance. And you want to brace, breathe, all the different things. So to complete this workout, I continue to do the belt squat for about 3 sets, trying to increase by 90 pounds per set, so finishing up at over 400 pounds. And for the squat, I like to do 7 sets of 3 repetitions, increasing the weight between each set by 10 to 20 pounds. I'm not going to videotape all of that, but again, just to let you know how I'm doing. And then I finish up with some foam rolling, a little bit of stretching, and if I feel like it, I'll get on a stationary bike for 10 to 20 minutes. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you again next time.